deliver their decision. To become a member of parliament, you have to be elected by the voter. And you have to be declared by the Electoral Commission. But you have to be sworn in by the Speaker. Until you are sworn in by the Speaker, you remain MP elect. Good afternoon to you all. And let me add my voice in welcoming all of you to the Justice Daniel Francis Annan. In fact, I missed one name, Kwepe. Justice Francis Daniel Kwepe Annan Auditorium. A lot have been said. I would have loved to also say many more things, but I'm being compelled to be guided by a written speech imposed on me by the MC, who is heading my communication team, that is in the office of the Speaker. But the one in charge of our outreach, our communication in Parliament is nobody less than our madam here, Kate Ado. She is the coordinating director for all the departments under the communication, whether it's media or public relations or engagement or whether it's broadcasting, they all come under her. You know her, she used to be news reader, she talks too much, more than me. She talks more than me. I've known almost all of you, particularly the very senior ones. We've worked together at various places, and the global president is very well known to me. I'm sure you have no doubt why I made Honorable Kofi Ato the Chief of Staff of my office. He has a very unique way of presenting his views. And as a member of Parliament, we never missed his contributions. And I recall vividly well when he said something about President Kufuor. Whilst he's pinching you, you'll be laughing. It's only when you go to sleep that you get to know that. So he has a very unique way of making his points, putting across his views. And I recall that day he got up and he was talking about President Kufuor. And he used the phrase that the man changes his flights in mid-air. And we all laughed. What he just wanted to put across is that he was never in the country. He spent almost all his time outside the country. So he was there changing, so he called him our visiting president. Let me now go back to the speech, a script that has been imposed on me. And I want to acknowledge all the members of Parliament here. The clerk, as you've been told, this is first official assignment. He is Ebenezer Ahuma Jetro. There are other deputy clerks. I can't identify them, but we have a lady deputy clerk known as Gloria Sacco, one of our cadets who got educated from Russia and joined us in 1996 whilst I was chairman of committee here. Then we have another deputy clerk in the person of Camilo Foreman. And then after them, the women took over all the positions. After clerk, deputy clerks, then the assistant deputy clerks and the coordinating directors are mostly women. And I consciously made sure that they took over that place. Our global president, global indeed, because when I met some of our members, usually from country to country, they come to tell me they are members of the Pro Forum of the party. I get sad because I don't know how you manage to reach out to all of those in the diaspora. But please, please, congratulations. You've done very, very, very well. Very clear to all of us. It's just that Ghanaians are very gullible, but it is not the case that the MPP is more of an elite party than any other party. It's not the case. CPP had more educated people than the MPP, but because they are loud-mouthed and they are very good at branding, and you will recall how they branded and President Kufuor to win elections at the Gentle Giant, and how again they've managed to brand somebody else. And he also became president for 8 years, and the results are there for all of us to show. So our hardworking global president, Ambassador Sam P. Yale, all the executives and members of Pro Forum, staff of the Parliamentary Service, distinguished guests, our media partners, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm season's greetings filled with peace, goodwill, and hope as we celebrate this special time of the year together. Experiencing another Christmas is a blessing we cannot take for granted. I am very grateful to the Almighty God for the lives of each and every one of us. More importantly, I'm grateful for the peace and security provided our beloved nation in an election that was perceived to reign chaos over the country. We are told, and we believe him to be true, it is God who enthrones kings and gives them counsel to rule. We are convinced he has enthroned His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as president of this nation. And we trust the Almighty God to do same and more with his presidency. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed with profound humility and immense gratitude that I stand before you in this auditorium, named after one of Ghana's pride, a pride in sports. Many of you don't know that the late Justice D.F. Annan was a boxer. Yes, he was, and that's where he met Jerry John Rawlings. I'm not a chartered historian. Yes, that's where they clicked before the revolution, you know. It is with profound humility and immense gratitude that I stand before you in this auditorium, named after one of Ghana's pride in sports, in the judiciary, in politics, the late Justice D.F. Kwepe Annan, to receive from you this incredible honor bestowed upon me by the Professional Forum of the great National Democratic Congress. it took deep insight and a very, how many days of debate to take the name National Democratic Congress. So we are a Congress. We didn't take the word party. And the books are there for you to read. There's good reason why we decided it should be a Congress. We represent everybody, unlike the others. This award is not just a recognition of my personal service. It symbolizes the collective effort, commitment, resilience, and dedication of each member of the Great Congress and all our sympathizers. They have supported us in our relentless pursuit of a brighter future for all Ghanaians. Our opponents, who claim to be new, none of them is new anyway, to be patriotic, none is patriotic, and they say they belong to a party. Now you can see whether it's really a party. I've worked with them long before I joined politics in 1992. It was when I started my active practice in Accra here in 1983. I started it from the Achim chambers. That's where I started my legal practice in 1983. Achim chambers. And that time I was the only person of the northern extraction practicing in Accra. And I met almost all their leaders. We did cases together, even my lecturer, the brilliant late Darocha. We did 2 cases, and luckily I won both. And so he started respecting me. And if you really had time to read the book written by Nana Dr. S.K.B. Asante, you get to understand why the Ghana Law School has been taken over by that club. They all come from one university outside, you know. And so it's like it's their property. Even though the time that our first president, I should say first prime minister and later president, mooted the idea and decided to establish the Ghana Law School, it was seriously opposed by them. But now they have captured it and it's their property. We have really more men, more women, more elites than the New Patriotic Party. And the records are there from the first parliament of the Fourth Republic. What we did in that first parliament, no parliament up to date has equaled that parliament. And recently, a 90-year-old legal luminary, Justice Amunomone, I don't know how many of you know him. Amunomone is 90 years old now. He just celebrated his 90th year. He visited me in my office recently. He says solid, strong. And we did some cases together in the public tribunal those days. And he still reminds me of how I was able to overcome him in one of his cases. He was a very excellent prosecutor. He became the director of public prosecutors in the Attorney General's department. And that was the position he moved for to become a justice of the Court of Appeal. And truly, these are some of the iconic figures that we had globally. He did a lot of things globally, but they are not recognized. And these were the people who, in the Consultative Assembly, with this gentleman, drafted the 1992 Constitution. As of today, he's still a senior lecturer at the Ghana Law School at the age of 90. Solid. That is a solid member of the NDC. I'm just giving you some of this for you to be sure that that is the right place to belong to. That is the party that is the greatest in this country. Never allow anybody to take away that glory from you, that pride, that leadership. And as I keep on telling them, we lead, they follow. And all what they are doing now in politics, we have led the way for them to follow. And so you realize that even though they made Ghanaians to believe that the 1992 Constitution was written by riffraffs, they themselves kept on praising the 1992 Constitution. Because the earlier constitutions were written by their fathers. The 1969 Constitution was chaired by the father of the current president, who was also a member of the Burns Constitution, which was described by Kwame Nkrumah as what? Bogus and fraudulent. You know, but we have come to put in a constitution that has anchored our democracy for 32 years now. What their parents did lasted 27 months each. Whether it's a 69 or the 79. 27. Ours have lasted 32 years. Who is better? The refracts are better. The hairdressers are better. The Makolo women are better. The veranda boys and girls are better. Yes. That's where we belong to. I don't know whoever gave that kind of education to Ghanaians. Just because somebody says that I'm a professor, so I'm more intelligent than you. Meanwhile, you read that our great-grandfathers didn't go through that formal education, but they had more wisdom than us. So what kind of education are we undergoing? That is what is holding Ghana from development. The mindset. That is the challenge. And we say we're going to reset Ghana, we have to reset the mindset. We are told to push the ones who climb good trees. That push certainly motivates others. And I believe this presentation will do the same and more in and beyond the National Democratic Congress. This great honor you have bestowed on me to appreciate my journey so far will encourage others after me to emulate the goodness of leadership when it matters most. Please, I want to emphasize this point of eschewing fear from your lives. It's a debilitating force. Once you entertain fear in your life, you have done away with more than half of your potential. There is nobody in the world better than you. You are created unique. Nobody else has those qualities better than you. And so sometimes, I'm saying this because in my leadership, I've had to meet a lot of struggles with some of our leaders. There are some things you want to do, and they say, no. If you do this because of this, don't have to do it. No. If you have in your conscience that what you are going to do is good, is right, and it will inure to the benefit of the people, please, go ahead and do it. The turnaround started, if you all recall, when the EC wanted to bring an instrument to Parliament. And that instrument had the idea of creating more constituencies. And there was confusion. How could it be prevented? It was brought to Parliament for pre-laying. Our committee was chaired by one of our members. And he is a very renowned, brilliant lawyer, Honorable Dr. Dominic Ayine. If you go through the law, there's nothing you could do about it. And so he was held there, and our party had serious challenges with it. I remember how I was called as the speaker to see what to do about it. And that debate was not easy. And if you recall it, I came out with a statement where I said there was no way, looking at our constitution, I could direct or control the functions of the Electoral Commission. And so they are ready, they want to bring it. Well, please, you are at liberty to bring it to Parliament. But by the principle of separation of powers, there is no way any other person also could dictate to us and control Parliament as to how we should pass that legislation. And so people were held up. Yes, it was here. And by our procedure, it's the speaker who has to admit businesses to the House. And usually I do it by a minute to the clerk that this business has been admitted by me and it should be processed for presentation to the House. So I'm the gatekeeper. It was not admitted. And if it is not admitted, it cannot be processed and it cannot appear before the business committee to be scheduled for presentation to Parliament for its deliberations and passage. And that ended that thing. That was the first. And then the others followed. And I can tell you this, because when I'm speaking the truth, I have nothing to fear. If you ask me tomorrow that I said, yes, I said it. The decision of the Supreme Court just followed the position I took. before even they deliver their decision. To become a member of parliament, you have to be elected by the voter. And you have to be declared by the Electoral Commission. But you have to be sworn in by the Speaker. Until you are sworn in by the Speaker, you remain MP elect. So I was very clear in my mind that some of those re-collation and re-declaration were completely null and void ab initio. They were unknown to the law. And so they were not properly so-called MPs elect and not qualified to be sworn in by me. My clerk is here. We had those discussions. When I told them, they were all surprised. I said, yes, I'm the gatekeeper. The right thing must be done for us to be able to reset Ghana. And so this recognition, I tell you, is going to do more than what I have done. I want to take this opportunity to highly commend all members of Pro Forum for the unwavering belief, commitment, and tireless investment in facilitating the return of the NDC to power. As my communication boss just told you, I was very clear in my mind that if we hadn't given them a resounding thrashing, there would be a serious contest as to who won, and they would not have been prepared to hand over power to any person, as they told us. And I learned this in 2001, when we first went into opposition. And the veteran Honorable Joseph Henry Mensah, J.H. Mensah, told the world that by the time they finish prosecuting and imprisoning the leaders of NDC, there will be no party called NDC. And that was the time I challenged him. I was minority leader. He was then leader of government business. And that was the first punch I gave them. That you learned nothing. You people are only copy clerks. That term you took for Osajefu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, when he was made leader of government business in 1952. And now, look at you. 2001, you have taken that term as leader of government business. When in Parliament, we are using the term minority and majority. We are not using the term government and opposition. That is what is used in the United Kingdom. And that's why you have leader of government business. Because it's government, and then you have opposition. And so you have one side sitting on benches. That's why you have the term backbenchers, because they are sitting on benches. Then the other side, to the right, another to the left. And that's where you have the term cross-carpeting. Because you have to go to the other side, there's a carpet in between. And so you have to cross that carpet to go to the other side. That's where the word came from, cross-carpeting. And so, even though we are not operating that system, the only thing that they've learned, and you can, my friends, my brothers, they are chimps, you know, we eat dogs together, so. They are my brothers, they are my sisters, and as I told you, that's where we enjoy together. And as one of their councils, they are chim chambers, where, you know, when you are presenting them in court, you go from the district court to the Supreme Court, or else they won't give up. Oh yes, when you are doing a case for an achim, you don't give up. You start from the district court, you have to go to the Supreme Court. So I had a lot of work to do in those days, and I really moved with them. Very good people who took me as just a junior, and I rose up to become a partner in that Achim Chambers before leading our colleagues to establish the Law Trust Company. I was the senior most of that team, the 2 years senior to Lara Jete and the Chichu Opoku. So we established that firm. It's still operating nicely there. And so I knew them very, very well, and I managed to destroy J.H. Mensah. So he was immediately reshuffled. Because I used those terms.